Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I am once more going to be using my Netflix account to cover a movie that you guys really want me to cover. Tonight's movie is one I've gotten so many requests for, it's actually gotten almost irritating, but I'm going to explain that in just a sec. First, as always, I do have to announce the title for those of you who don't like reading the titles on these videos, since they're right up there. Tonight's film is a 2010 horror comedy called Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I'd like to say right now, I know nothing about this fucking movie. I've had a few hundred requests for it. Every single time I ask why, people just tell me because it's funny. Now, I'd like to say this right now. The last time so many people all but demanded I cover a movie, that movie was The Human Centipede. Everybody who told me I should see it were telling me that it was the most graphic, gruesome, nasty, gory, violent horror film ever made, and it's guaranteed to make you sick. Instead, I got a film that by all rights shouldn't have made anybody queasy because it was the tamest fucking horror flick I had ever seen. I have seen kitten videos on YouTube that are far more disturbing than anything The Human Centipede could have fucking dished out, which makes me question exactly what kind of stuff certain people are able to tolerate when they tell me that The Human Centipede is guaranteed to make you puke. Now, a lot of people have been telling me that Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is guaranteed to make me laugh. And I would like to say that while I am a fan of a lot of horror comedies, and you've kind of seen that if you watch this series, you've noticed, I really have a soft spot for cheesy films and horror comedies. So this one might have a chance. However, I've also heard from a few people who said the film completely sucks. I don't know. The only way I'm going to find out, though, is if I sit down and I watch it. And what the hell, it's only 88 minutes long, I guess I can sit through it. And if it's any good, awesome. I'll go and hunt for a copy on DVD, and I'll put it in my collection. If it sucks, well, at least I didn't have to pay anything for it because I've got my Netflix account and I use it to watch other shit anyway. So I really have to stop just sitting here and yammering. It's time for me to get right into this. So without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Wow, this film has just started and I already want every single one of these kids to fucking die. And if any of them are still alive by the time this film's over, I'm gonna be pissed. Well, so far, this movie's given us exactly one cool thing. That was a kill in a flashback involving a saw blade. That was really cool. Kind of wish everything else in this movie was on that level of awesome, but so far, no. You know, guys, perhaps maybe the humor in this movie would actually exist if the jokes weren't telegraphed a good minute in advance. Maybe then I'd find a reason to laugh, but you see every single joke coming long before the punchline hits, and that demolishes any hope you have of anything being funny. I really hope that improves as this film goes on, but right now I sadly have my doubts. Okay, I need to ask this. Are we ever gonna get a likable character in this fucking movie? Are we ever gonna get a character with any level of fucking depth? We are 36 minutes into this worthless fucking thing. I do not care about a single character, and I haven't laughed once. This is probably one of the worst horror comedies I have ever seen. I do not see any signs of it fucking improving, and thanks to the gimmick of this series, I can't just say fuck it and shut it off. God, this sucks! I'm telling you guys, this is hell. Oh my god. I'm speechless. That's how bad this movie is. I'm fucking speechless. And there's another half hour left. I have to sit through another half hour of this fucking shit. And so far, nothing. There's nothing here. There is no humor. There is no character depth. But god damn it, I'm gonna get to cover that when the fucking movie's done. God, I want something good to happen in the next half hour. I want to find at least a silver lining in this black, dismal fucking cloud. Oh, guys, would you look at this? A scene that's trying to be all fucking dramatic and shit, but it's not working. Why? Because the writing sucks. Thank God I will get to rip this movie apart real soon, but I just wanted to say, it fails at being funny, it fails at being dramatic, it fails at being intense, but again, gotta wait till the movie's over. Counting down the fucking minutes. It's finally over. It's finally over, yes! Oh my fucking god, that was absolutely fucking torturous. Okay. I'm so happy it's fucking done. Okay. Where to start? Well, one thing's been bugging me this entire film. It finally hit me late into the movie. I know where one of these actors is from. The guy who plays Dale was in a shitty little Fox sitcom that me and maybe 3 other people on the entire planet watched. It was a bullshit show called Sons of Tucson. If you are one of those other 3 people, you know exactly the pain I suffered when I was dumb enough to watch it. Saddest part is Sons of Tucson, which I believe came out the same year this fucking thing did, was better. He actually was likable in that fucking show. That show at least had good writing. His character had some level of depth. Why he sucks so hard in this thing, I will never know. Now, let's cover the basics, shall we? Positives. A couple of the special effects looked really good. Like 1 or 2 of the effects looked really good. Everything else looked absolutely ridiculously cheap, so that falls into the negative, but at least a couple of the effects looked okay. The lighting was good. The sound was even. Is there any other positives? Camera work was okay. The sound was alright. Lighting was good. A couple of the effects were nice. That's it. Now let's have some fun. Let's start with the writing. Oh, fuck yes, let's start with the goddamn writing. First of all, our characters are all shallow, lifeless beings. They all have the personality of driftwood. No, scratch that, because that's a fucking insult to Driftwood. Driftwood's livelier than any of the characters in this fucking movie. The only one who gets any sort of personality outside of being either a college fucking dipshit or a backwoods dipshit is the only one of the college kids who winds up becoming, essentially the villain for the second half of the film. And it's really sort of jarring how he goes from being just this bland, lifeless character to being a bland, lifeless character with dialogue that would be better suited for a shitty comic book villain. So, yeah, and I totally understand that they were probably trying to make his dialogue sound sort of cute and kitschy and, campy and all. No! It sucked! But it might have been improved if the acting was better. But hey, we cannot ask actors to turn in decent fucking performances when the script is this bad. It's really sort of a daunting task. Holy shit, nobody in this film is likable. Partially because the acting is wooden and lifeless, and because the characters are written, again, in a wooden and lifeless manner. There is nothing here. Nobody has any real personality outside of just being either a college kid or a redneck, and there's no other depth besides our villain, who basically just rattles off this dialogue that would have been better suited in a Silver Age comic book, and not even one of the better Silver Age comics. I'm gonna say that right now. Oh my God in heaven. let me talk about comedy for just a minute, because this film claimed to be a comedy. There wasn't one funny fucking minute in the thing. There wasn't even a funny scene in it. Let me explain why. For comedy to work, the punchline has to come from out of nowhere. Alright? That is usually when comedy is at its best, is when you don't know when the joke is coming, or when you know what, or you know that a joke is coming, but you don't know what the joke is going to be. When they are able to lay out every single comedic beat properly, and it's all timed perfectly, and it looks amazing, and the humor is there, it is an instant recipe for awesome. Now, I have seen a lot of comedies in my life. There are a lot of comedies I've watched probably a couple hundred times. Ones like Beetlejuice or the Rocky Horror Picture Show, movies I watched when I was a kid. You know, I've seen them probably at least 100 times each. There are a lot of jokes in those movies which still make me laugh. Why? Because they were well written. This thing doesn't have that. We have poorly written jokes that are fucking just they are just like telegraphed so far ahead of time that anybody who finds these jokes funny when the fucking punchline finally hits could probably be clinically, you know, diagnosed as mentally deficient, because there's no way in hell you can sit there and watch it and you can see this kid grab a fucking policeman's gun and sit there and fiddle around with it for fucking 45 seconds and not know he's gonna shoot himself in the face. Spoiler, he fucking does. But any fucking pinhead who watches this movie would see that coming the second he grabs the goddamn gun. Why? Because that's how bad the writing is in this thing, where you can literally call every single joke and every single death before they even happen. That is not good writing, and this movie is riddled with that. There is not one single bit of decent dialogue, decent pacing, decent humor. The writing is the one thing that absolutely demolishes this fucking movie. Because you know what? If this thing had competent writing, if this thing had writers who weren't fucking stupid as shit, perhaps maybe we would have had something here. Because the story was really sound. We could have had something here if the fucking jokes were timed better, if the acting was good, if the characters had some level of depth, if we had anybody in the film who was fucking likable, if we had anybody in this goddamn film who had any level of intelligence. That is one other problem here, is that this is a comedy that doesn't have a straight man. Allow me to explain the concept of a straight man to people. In the world of comedy, you have to have what is known as a straight man, a person who is sane, a person who is grounded in reality, the person who witnesses all of the wacky shit going on around them, and you are supposed to basically feel with them, and you basically are seeing the world through their eyes. They are what keeps the story grounded, and they are what makes the story interesting, and they are where the jokes come from. But we don't have a straight man for anybody to bounce any of these pathetic jokes off of. We have nothing but we have nothing but wacky characters who don't know how to be funny, because the writers apparently were never taught how to be funny, or just do not have that God-given talent to be humorous. Jesus fuck. I hated this goddamn movie, and I really wanted to like it. Why? Because I like horror comedies. I really do. And I would have loved to have put this thing along with the same, with the same awesome films as fucking, like Army of Darkness, or Dead Heat, or Dead Alive, or Dead Snow, Zombieland, or Shaun of the Dead. But we don't get that. Instead, we get something which makes lesbian vampire killers look like a fucking episode of Frasier in terms of how well the comedy is written. And that is fucking pathetic. Now, I feel a lot better now. Now it's time to discuss who would like this movie. I've been thinking about this, long and hard about this. The only people who could enjoy this movie are people who find the comedy stylings of Larry the Cable Guy to be the funniest thing on the face of the earth. If your comedy standards are that low, you will adore this movie. It is a movie tailor-made for you. Watch it, enjoy it, love it. Everybody else, avoid this thing. It is 88 minutes you will not get back. This was 88 minutes I will never get back. And I feel kind of violated now. Because it's another proof. It's once more proof that hype will destroy anything. But then again, I think that even if people would just have said check it out and not tell me it was funny as hell, I would probably still have found it to be a piece of shit. There is nothing that the writers of this film could have done shy of hiring competent writers to salvage this thing. Because the actors could probably have turned in a decent showing if they had something to work with. My God, I feel horrible right now. I haven't felt this bad since I watched Fire and Ice. And Fire and Ice was a huge fucking letdown because it was from one of my favorite fucking directors and it was the worst thing he had ever done. This thing is the worst horror comedy I have ever sat through. And that makes me really goddamn depressed. So guys, I'm going to go crawl into a corner somewhere and cry. I'm going to pretend I never watched this fucking thing. Because if I remember watching this, I'm probably going to go on a murderous rampage and kill somebody. And I'm probably going to start by going to this movie's IMDb page and hunting down the fuckers who wrote this thing. Because I know it was at least 2 goddamn writers. And I will kill them both with my bare hands. That is only if memories of this stupid thing pop up in my head and I can hunt them down. Holy shit. I really hope the next episode is a good one. I really hope that the next movie I have lined up is good. I don't know what it is right now. I have a bunch of options. Stuff that I bought, stuff that you guys have sent in. Maybe I'll find another movie off of Netflix. I don't know. Right now I'm a little bit gun-shy about going back to Netflix because so far I've done 2 movies from there and they both sucked. So guys, with that we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.